What if your favorite video game characters were forced to face an unimaginable horror that was hunting them down one by one? Well, that's the premise of an infection AU called Super Smash Bros. Corrupted Spirits, created by the user GreatMlit0Jai, or at a fellow user over on TikTok and YouTube. The initial premise is that Luigi receives an invitation to Smash Bros, but little does he and the rest of Fires know that a different kind of tournament is going to be taking place entirely. The first part begins with diary notes from Luigi covering the event. Day 1, 8 AM. As I was walking through the Mushroom Kingdom, I noticed an envelope flying towards me. It looks like the letter was sent by the Master Hands, inviting everyone for a tournament to welcome in the new fighters. I must get ready. Everybody will be there. How exciting! I must tell Mario and everybody else. Day 2, 9 AM. Once we've gotten ready, Mario, Peach and I began to make our way to the Smash universe as instructed by the letter. It's going to take a while since the pipes don't seem to be working at the moment, some weird vines on them. Anyways, Mario is very excited to compete in this. He's been dying for a rematch with some of our old friends. Day 3, 5 PM. We've finally made it. I looked around so that almost everybody's here. Master Hand and Crazy Hand approached us and welcomed us to the tournament. However, I noticed some dark, gooey substance coming out of Master Hand. I asked them if they're in an okay state, in which they just brushed it off.
I'm fine.
Something's not right. While everybody else in the tournament was ready to move on to the finals, the Ice Climbers and I noticed something strange. Popo saw something wrong with Piranha Plant. It seemed to be acting stranger than usual. It had vines growing out of it just like the ones from the pipes earlier. I also noticed the same purple gooey substance from that of the Master Hand dripping out of its mouth alongside the vines. It also began to twitch and was non-responsive to any of our questions. Day 3, 9 PM. Popo tried to reach out to it. Piranha Plant ate Popo. Soon after that, more vines emerged from their body and started attacking everyone. Some tried to fly away. Some tried to fight back. Day 3, 11:45 PM. I was somehow able to evade the vines despite the fact that I was right next to Piranha Plant. While I was running, I noticed that all the Wells portals were being flown all across the area, which resulted in me falling into the Pokemon's world. Luckily for me, I ran into Shulk and Inkling when I landed in the world. Hannah was also with me. However, I had to carry her since she was in shock due to, well, you know why. We're currently recovering at a Pokemon Center in Lumio City. An interesting start to the series. I wonder whether either Master Hand or Piranha Plant were Patient Zero themselves, or whether it was a different character entirely. But it seems like something or someone behind the scenes is kind of orchestrating this whole infection that's going on at the moment, trying to eliminate contestants for some ulterior motive. With that, let's move on to the next part. I really love the role that Luigi is taking with Nana. It reminds me a lot of The Last of Us, sort of a Joel and Ellie relationship here. I hope it doesn't end the same way as that does, but we'll just have to wait and see. At least they're in a subgroup of survivors now. They seem to be holding their own together. Unfortunately though, it looks like we've got another confirmed infected with that of Jigglypuff having broken into the Pokemon Center. It's unsure what's happened to Roy. Roy went off to investigate. Who knows what, if Roy's been infected, if Roy's gone missing, who knows. We'll just have to wait and see what happens next as we go on to the next chapter. Day 4, 12:04 AM. We managed to somehow dodge Jigglypuff's attacks and began to run towards the exit. While doing so, we tried to take items from the desk, however we weren't able to grab them. It just phased right through our hands. Greninja was the only one able to grab them. It makes sense though, seeing that they come from this world. Day 4, 12:06 AM. As we were trying to grab more supplies, Jigglypuff quickly followed behind us. Before anyone could react, she began to sing her song, which started making us feel drowsy. Luckily, Greninja threw a Pokeball at her before her song could have had an effect on us. Day 4, 12:07 AM. Not even a few seconds later, the Pokeball began to leak the same gooey substance alongside it, beginning to crack. Suddenly, a splurge of goo came crashing from the roof, which was our cue to get out. I could have sworn I saw Roy's hand coming out of it. 12:15 AM. As we ran away from the Pokemon Center, I noticed the goo starting to mutate right behind us. It became more sharper and began to attack and consume anything in its path. 12:30 AM. Once we got away from the city, we began to walk more and more, hoping we'd find something to help us. Luckily, we found another world portal, and it belonged to my world, Golden Plains. We quickly entered it and my universe seems to be okay, at least for now. 1:45 AM. We walked for a while now, and everyone was getting tired, and I was getting pretty exhausted from carrying Nana. We found the Toad's house and explained to him the situation, which he gladly let us stay for the time being until we could find some sort of solution. First off, rest in peace to my homie Roy. My boy got done dirty, but I like the rules that the author has set up for this world. Basically, characters can only use items that come from the world they originate in. So I think that adds to a lot of tension, especially if they're in a world different from their own. They can't really use anything that's there or anything that's specific to that world. We also noticed that this goo or this sort of substance that's been infecting people kind of has a mind of its own, or at least has its own will, is able to move on its own and mutate. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly that plays into future chapters. Episode 5 was a bit of a long one as in a video format, so hope you guys enjoy and I'll be back shortly.
Warning. Warning. This is not a test. Repeat. This is not a test. All broadcast station and cable system shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the Comet Observatory, in conjunction with the Mushroom Kingdom. This warning is effective immediately and will continue into the foreseeable future. This message is crucial for your safety. Please do not turn off your device and pay close attention. The alert is as follows. 3 days ago, an incident had occurred during the Super Smash Bros. Tournament involving another fighter. There were believed to be vines coming out of said fighter and began to attack everyone. Multiple fighters were injured, others were fatally wounded. However, the following was not just another tragedy. Since the incident, there had been disturbing reports of a strange phenomenon occurring. Citizens have reported a dark purple, goo-like substance leaking from the World Portal, the portal that connects the Smash Bros. Universe to ours. The goo has been shown to spread quickly, consuming whatever it touches, be it creatures, structures, and even the land itself. But this is not the worst it has done. Several Smash fighters have attempted to stop the spread of the substance, however upon contact, the goo transformed into a jagged, blade-like shape piercing into the skin, and entering the body via the cut. At first those affected seemed unhurt, but over time their bodies began to change, mutating in ways that can only be described as disturbing. We're not sure if this goo is some sort of parasite causing these mutations, but we will refer to it as one. The following graphics will show the process of change once the goo enters the body. Stage 1. This stage is usually when the goo has controlled over 15% of the person. The symptoms for this stage are mild discomfort in the affected area, soreness, and a small fever, but overall it's not detectable. Stage 2. This stage is where the infection becomes more noticeable, with the infection being at 35%. The affected area usually becomes completely purple, however in some cases it's not always the case. The symptoms for this phase are more discomfort in the affected area, loss of mobility in the area, the goo becoming more evident in the bloodstream, fear begins to increase, increased fever, slight aggression is present, and eyes begin to change, becoming more droopy. Stage 3. This stage is when the affected truly begins to go horribly wrong. With the infection being at 75%. The victim starts to lose control to all motor functions and their mental state begins to decrease. The following symptoms are extreme discomfort, stress, higher levels of fear, the eyes changing to either completely hollowed out, pure black, or pure white depending on how much goo has entered the body. A forceful smile has also been reported at this stage. Their aggression is much more evident and are able to infect others with the goo dripping out of any socket of the body. Stage 4. This is by far the most dangerous stage of the infection. Limbs have been shown to exponentially grow to an abnormal extent. The smile becomes much more forced, with the eyes becoming more lifeless. Those at this stage have been shown to be incredibly durable, being able to withstand a huge amount of damage. Aggression is fully present towards non-infected individuals and will actively seek them out. Claws have also been reported, presumably to infect others. We're not sure if there is a fifth stage, but we will continue to monitor and investigate. As of right now, there have been no reports of any infected non-Smash fighters. Due to this, those who are part of the Smash roster should avoid the goo at any cost. If you spot an infected, carefully get away from the area and alert any nearby civilians and report them to the authorities of the world you're in. This concludes this emergency announcement. Updates will be given once every 12 hours. Remain calm and stay safe. Regular programming will resume.
I really like the in-universe world building that the author's doing here, and sort of contextualizing it within the context of it being Nintendo and Smash. Like how the emergency broadcasts are coming from the Comet Observatory. I think that's a nice touch. I'm also glad that we got to break down the different stages of the infection. It makes it a lot more clear about how exactly this infection works, what the differences are, stuff like that. And yeah, overall, I'm really happy with how this is going so far, and I'm excited to see where exactly it goes next. It's interesting to see it's only targeting Smash players. It's not really going for anybody that's not involved in Smash, not like inhabitants of other worlds or anything like that. I think that's interesting. I think that it definitely means that's a targeted attack or something like that. So be interested to see what exactly is going on here as we go on to the next part. So we catch back up with our group of survivors here. They have a bag of items from the Mushroom Kingdom, or at least from the world that Mario and Luigi come from, so they should be good to go. It'd be interesting to know whether these items work in different worlds or not, or if they only work in the world they originate from. I know characters can only use them if they come from that world, but I'm not sure how it works between worlds, so I'm wondering if the author will eventually answer that. It was also good when, I think it was Greninja asked Shulk why he can use his foresight, and he said he tried, but something was preventing him from seeing any further of their attacks. He could only see up to a certain point, like something was deliberately preventing him from doing so. So that's very interesting. So it seems like there is some higher force or some higher being that's preventing or trying to keep the Smash players from being ahead of the curve. And as we saw there, unfortunately it looks like young Link is infected along with a infected version of his little fairy. So not good. I wonder if that means if the young version of Link is infected, does that mean the older version gets infected as well? Or are they just treated as two separate characters like in the game? Yeah, I'm just curious about that. But yes, unfortunately, that is the last part for now. That was uploaded about 2 days ago by the author. So probably won't be another part for a little while, because these take a while to come out, and for good reason. There's a lot of effort and work put into these, and I'm very grateful that the author is working on this AU, because they've done an excellent job so far. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, please check out the author's TikTok and YouTube channel. They do a fantastic job. They're great at animating these, and overall, they deserve the love and support. So please go check out their work. Please go check out their other videos, and give them all the love and support they deserve. Anyways, everyone, that'll be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I know this one's probably my longest one to date so far, but there was just a lot to cover, and I just wanted to kind of gush about how much I enjoyed this AU. So again, thank you so much for watching. Much love, much peace to everyone out there, subscribers and non-subscribers alike. I appreciate it. Have a good one. Take care, and bye.